All right, super pumped for today. Got the main man, Jason Maxwell, aka J Max. He's a best-selling author, online fitness celebrity, and he's well known for growing his Instagram. I think it was like 800 a little over a year ago. Now he's at 290,000 people, and not just
291 today, actually.
291.
Yeah.
I gave you a shout out. Maybe it was a 1K from me.
So. Yeah, that's who it came from.
Yes. I've known Jason for about 7 months now. We both met at our mutual friends mastermind, Jason Capital. We're speaking at Jason Capital's event, the High Status Summit, so I'm pumped for that. And Jason has been a stand-up dude. We hung out, had dinner, seen each other numerous times. He's always had a great heart. And for me personally, I'm always looking at ways of growing my Instagram. So he was cool enough to tell me some strategies, and I invested in his course, which is a phenomenal IG course. And he is a man that leads by example. You know, sometimes people slide up in your DMs, they're like, I'm gonna help you grow your Instagram. And I look at their following, they're like 2,000 people. I'm like, what the hell? You know, either you're lying or something doesn't add up. But this guy legitimately has damn near 300,000 followers, and he's not a Kardashian. That's amazing.
Yeah, not a Kardashian. That's one hell of an intro, man.
Awesome. So to kick things off, like, what is a quote or a mantra that keeps you on track?
For me, just if it's uncomfortable, do it. That's the words I've been living by this year, and that's why I've grown so much, because I think because I grew up in this small town with a small town mindset, I was self-sabotaging myself, self-sabotaging my success because I didn't want to get out of my comfort zone. But as soon as I started getting out of my comfort zone and doing things that made me uncomfortable, that's where I really grew. So that's my mantra.
Yeah, sweet. Dude, I would love to hear kind of a short summary of your transition, how you started off as a personal trainer, what got you to doing online.
So I went to school for aerospace engineering. So whenever I make jokes about rocket science, that's where those jokes come from, because I was almost a rocket scientist, and I graduated school and I just was not passionate about it. The only thing I was passionate about was fitness. So I graduated, and on my graduation day, I had 3 professors come up to me and they asked me to be their master's student. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to go get my master's. And they're like, oh, you got a job in engineering. You got a job at Bombardier. I'm like, no, I didn't get a job. And they're like, so what are you going to do? So I told them, I'm going to be a personal trainer. And they all thought I was crazy, obviously, but I was totally passionate about it. Around the same time, I was just writing my blog online just because it was my hobby and I wanted to share my knowledge and help people. So I started my blog, and then I read an article on Tim Ferriss's website, The 4-Hour Workweek, and he was talking about this guy named Mike Geary, he was an engineer. He quit his job, and then he was on pace to making $11 million that year from selling his online product. And I thought, well, if Mike Geary can figure it out, why can't I figure this stuff out? So I worked as a personal trainer for, I think, 8 or 9 months, and then I quit personal training in person, and I went 100% online because the online business was doing decent. And then I lived on the other side of the world in this country called Malta for 3 years and just really built my business there.
Absolutely. Wow. Malta. That's amazing. And that's literally what we call Team No Pants, living life in your own terms, moving out of cold ass Canada, going to Malta, building your online business.
And yeah, you don't even know. I might not even have pants on right now. You can't even tell.
It's the best. That's the best. I'm just showing people your Instagram right now just so they could get an understanding of your page, how it looks. Incredible, 291,000 followers. And he's a muscle expert from Toronto. I help guys build muscle, former rocket scientist, just like he said. And he has a great call to action, which is his book called Muscle.
Very simple.
Yeah.
So today what I'll talk about is the 3 growth hacks that I use to grow this page, because August 16th, 2017. So August last year, I had 800 followers, and it took me 3 years to get those 800 followers. And then from August until August, so August 2017 to August 2018, I got 250,000 followers from that. And it's just from these 3 growth hacks that I'm going to teach today.
Great, great. Do you need a screen share, or you can just do it off of your video?
I'm going to screen share. So actually, the presentation I'm going to show today is going to be my presentation for High Status Summit when I'm there. So you guys get to see it first. Woo! So we're getting like the inside stuff. And this is like, I literally just finished my slides yesterday. So this is like as recent as you can get on this stuff. So there's some new stuff in here as well that I haven't told anyone else about yet.
That's awesome. Yeah, go ahead and get your slides ready. And if you need to take the share, go ahead. And Jason's a phenomenal presenter, because he was giving a presentation about a month ago at Vince Del Monte's mastermind. And what I loved about Jason, he's very tactical. He was literally opening up everything that he does, what's working, his emails. And I'm excited to speak alongside him at the High Status Summit. So now you're getting what is currently working cutting edge on Instagram.
So can you guys see my screen right now? Just type yes in the chat if you can see my screen. I can't actually even see the chat. Oh, wait.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. So I'm going to just get you guys to chime in here because I'm curious. How many of you are getting high ticket clients or customers from Instagram right now? Just say yes, I am in the chat right now if you are. All right, and then how many people thinks that they could get more high-paying clients if you have a bigger Instagram following? Type heck yeah in the chat right now. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so this strategy, it's my 3 growth hacks, and this is how I grew my Instagram to 100K followers. It's how you can grow your Instagram to 100K followers as well. It took me a few months just to do that too, and it's because of these 3 hacks. And the beautiful thing about it is you can do this without buying traffic, without like paying for software, without paying for advertising, without paying for anything. This is how you do it without spending any money. So I just wanted to tell you the power of Instagram. So at the start of the year, January 4th, 2017, I broke up with my girlfriend of 8 years. It was rough. It was one of the lowest points of my life. But I started getting into the dating scene pretty soon after that, just to try to take action. Because as I said at the start, if I'm feeling uncomfortable, I should probably do it. So I was on one of my very first dates. And keep in mind, I was rusty. I was very, very rusty because I hadn't been on a date in 8 years, because I've been with this same woman for 8 years. So I'm on a date. I'm like, I don't even know how to even date. And the date's going okay. Like, you know, we're building rapport a bit, having conversation. And then next thing I know, I get tapped on the shoulder, and I'm sitting at the bar with this woman. She's this lawyer from downtown Toronto. Obviously, she goes on more dates than me because this is one of my first dates that I've been on in a long time. And I look over my shoulder, and this guy's like, "Hey, are you Jason? Are you G-Max Fitness?" And I'm like, yeah, that's me. And he's like, "Oh man, I've been following you for so long. Like, so cool. Can I get a picture with you?" So I got a picture with him, and then he left. And then the woman I was with was like, "Whoa, like, does this happen? Like, are you famous or something? Like, does this happen all the time?" And to be honest with you guys, this was the first time this ever happened in my entire life. And it just so happened to happen while I was on the date. So as you can probably guess, the date went a lot smoother after that. So this Instagram just carries over into any other part of your life. It was it was a pretty fun experience. And obviously there are 3 growth hacks that I'm going to talk to you about today. And these 3 growth hacks, content, presence, and networking, these are the 3 things that helped me build my Instagram from 800 to 291,000 followers. And I'm going to continue using these 3 hacks because they just work. They work. So August 17th, 2017, that's when I hit my first 1,000 followers. And I was so ecstatic to hit 1,000 followers because I was working to build to this for 3 years, and I finally did it August 17th, 2017. And my New Year's resolution that year, I told my mentor, Vince Del Monte, I was like, by the end of this year, I want to hit 20,000 followers. I want to get 20,000 followers by the end of 2017. And you know what, to be honest with you, in the back of my mind, I did not even think that was possible. There was, in my mind, I was like, okay, 20,000 followers. Yeah, right, Jason. But I said that goal to Vince, and I knew that he was going to light the fire under my ass and make sure that I took action on it. But then December 31st, 2017, I hit 100,000 followers. So I 5X'd my goal. And it was all because I was using these 3 growth hacks. So it's amazing what happens when you can set a goal, but that's obviously another story. So I know you're probably thinking like, you know, he must have used a bot. He must have paid for shoutouts. He must have did something, but no, I didn't use a bot. I didn't pay for shoutouts. All I did was provide great content consistently. And that's the first growth hack. So what you need to know is shitty content equals shitty Instagram. And there's a recipe for great content. You need to have a great image. You need to be polarizing in your content. So standing up for what you believe in. You need to have a value-driven caption. You need to in this caption, you need to provide lots of value, and then you need to end with hashtags. If you do these 4 things, your content will be great content. And here's a lesson for you. So a lot of people don't know this, but I used to be in a band. I played here in Toronto, and you know, we would go into the recording studio, and the number one thing they always tell you when you go into a recording studio is shit in, shit out. And that's the mantra. Everyone at a recording studio, all the engineers, they know this mantra. And what that means is, let's say you go into the studio and you try to play your part, but you haven't mastered your guitar part yet, or you don't remember the lyrics. So it doesn't matter how good the recording engineer is, he could never make that sound good. So if you're crappy going in, it's going to sound crappy coming out no matter what. So you need to always go in with high quality into the studio. You have to master your part. You have to know the lyrics. You have to practice. You have to be polished. And it's the same thing with your Instagram content. You can't half-ass this. You got to go in with great content that provides value, because if you just do okay content on every single post, then your Instagram's only going to be okay, but that means you're not even going to grow. So you need to go all in, and you need to go deep on this. So here's an example of having a great image versus a terrible image. So the image on the left is one of my highest performing Instagram posts. And the reason it did so well is because it delivers value. And it's as soon as you see it, you know exactly what the post is going to help you do. It's going to help you get jacked. So
yeah, Bart Simpson, man.
It's simple. You can consume it really quickly. You know exactly what it's about as soon as you see it. And it's just very, very clear, and it delivers the value. As opposed to the right, which is just a quote on a red background. Like, I'm looking at this quote right now, and I'm not even reading the words on here. But even if you read the words, it doesn't provide content. It doesn't provide value. It's not good content. But what if you don't do infographics? Because I found that infographics work great to build, but for some people that's off brand.
But I'm just curious, like, how do you even make the infographic, the Bart Simpson?
So funny story. I was in high school and all I was taking was like all these sciences and stuff. And then we had this one course on Photoshop, and I heard it was easy to get a high grade. And I heard it was like kind of a fun course. So I just took it. And now out of everything I do day to day, the one thing that seemed to pay off the most was that Photoshop class in grade 10, which is hilarious. So I use Adobe Photoshop, but actually I don't even do my Instagram posts anymore. I trained and hired a team to do that for me. But if you're creating your own posts, you can use Canva or you can use Adobe Photoshop. Canva is free and it's online, and it's pretty easy to use, and anyone can learn it by just watching a YouTube tutorial on that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, my admin SJ, she loves Canva, and I just say, hey, create this image, do this, and she just builds those. So that's simple to go.
And then here's another example of high quality versus low quality content. So the image on the left is obviously a professional picture, and the image on the right is just a selfie that I posted a while ago. And the hilarious thing about this is I didn't even get a like on that selfie. Like, I had followers on my personal account, but I didn't even get a like on that because it wasn't high quality. It was not a good image. So if you're going to be posting images, make sure that they're higher quality and you can kind of feel emotion, or it tells a story. Like, you see this picture of me on the left, and I'm like lifting the dumbbells overhead. I'm scrunching up my face. Like, you can tell that I'm in the gym, and you know what my page is about, and you can probably guess what the caption is going to be about. But the picture on the right, it's just me wearing a freaking Leafs jersey and smiling. So if you're going to post pictures, don't post just like crappy selfies. Post actual like nice images. And on top of this, for your posts, you want to be very polarizing. So this was my most polarizing post of all time. I think I had like 600 comments, 650 comments on this. And there was literally people arguing back and forth on this post. So the post says, as a meat eater, why am I expected to cater to vegetarian visitors? Well, vegetarians are never expected to cook meat for visiting meat eaters. So obviously when I posted this, like, I knew it was going to blow up right away because it's so polarizing. But if you go through the comments on this post, this is crazy. People were like fighting with each other. People were one guy literally called this other guy Hitler. Like,
whoa.
These are the types of posts that evoke emotion in people. But if you can evoke emotion by standing up for your actual values and what you believe in and your core pillars of your business, and you just keep talking about that over and over and over and over and over again, it's going to polarize people anyway. So for instance, let's say for my brand, for example, for building muscle, I have 4 core pillars, and it's lift heavy for strength, train each muscle group 2 times per week minimum, eat in a caloric surplus, and use flexible dieting, and make sure you're having high protein. If you're doing this, you're going to build muscle, you're going to get jacked. So anyone who doesn't believe in that, they're going to comment because they're going to be your haters. But the best part is when you have haters, it means your post is polarizing. And if they're commenting, it means that there's more engagement on the post. It means the post is going to get shown to more people. So when you have haters, it's a win-win-win. When you can make people feel emotion, that's when they share your post, or that's when they comment on your post. Not when you are not trying to piss anyone else off and you're just trying to like stay in your comfort zone. No, on Instagram, you need to be outside of your comfort zone. You need to put stuff out there that you believe in, but will also make you feel uncomfortable. Like when I posted this, I felt uncomfortable because I have vegetarian friends. I know people that are vegetarians. I've dated many vegetarians, and that's their choice. So for me to put this out there, like I was uncomfortable about that, but because I felt uncomfortable, that's when I knew it was going to be polarizing. So the next thing you want to have is a value-driven caption. So there's a formula for this, and I like to use it on most of my captions, and I use it when I record videos and stuff too. So this can work for a lot of different ways in your business, and I call it the decaf method. So I learned this from my public speaking coach, Marion Kane. So you start out declaring what you're going to teach. So that's your hook. So I just do like a headline, essentially, like how to add an inch to your arms in 4 weeks. Then you explain what you're going to teach. So you explain it very, very simply. Like, okay, if you want to add an inch to your arms, you're going to need to train them 3 times per week, and you're going to need to train in different rep ranges. Like, you're just explaining it kind of like as a soft teaching. Then you tell a story to illustrate what you are teaching. So I could tell a story, for instance, about how, like, maybe when I used to have like 12-inch arms, I used to just do bicep curls in the basement, and I did that every day. And after a year, I didn't gain any size in my arms. And the one thing that finally worked was when I started, using the things that I just explained about, like training my arms 3 times per week and doing this and that and that. And then you actually start telling them how to apply that. So I could get more in depth in it. Like, if you're going to train your arms 3 times per week, maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday you train for strength. Wednesday you train for hypertrophy, and Friday you train for a pump or high rep. And then you future pace what their life will be like if they start using this in their life. So for the big arms, like, you future pace, like, just imagine going out to the bar and having girls touch your arms. Just imagine wearing a t-shirt with tight fitting sleeves. Just imagine how great that would feel, because these are things that a lot of guys think about when they have small arms, but you just get them to just imagine what their life would be like with those big arms. And that's the caption formula, decaf. But there's one more thing, and that's the call to action. Now, obviously, every post, you're not going to have a strong call to action. But if you want to get them to buy something or DM you or go to a certain website, that's where you use your call to action. But with Instagram, I've tested this so many times, and the best place to put your call to action is at the start of the caption, because so many people see your post. So in your call to action, you tell them to visit the link in your bio, and only a few people are going to get down to the end of the caption. So Instagram is the only place online where you start out with your call to action. It's weird. It makes no sense, but you're going to get not just like 10 times more sales, you're probably going to get like 20 to 30 times more sales, because a lot of people don't see the call to action on Instagram, and it's just the way the platform is. If you're not going to put it...
I'm sorry, Jason, do you basically do 2 call to actions, one at the top of the post, one at the bottom, or just one?
Just one at the top.
Okay.
And what I'll do is, if I do a soft call to action for engagement, I'll usually put that at the bottom. And it's like, if someone you think could benefit from this, then send them here. But if I really want to get people to take action and really drive engagement, like saying, take a friend who wants to build bigger arms, for example, I would put that call to action at the very top. If I know, like, my number one thing is I just want to get a ton of people tagging their friends on that post. And then you're going to use your hashtags. So hashtags for Instagram is basically SEO for Instagram. So, we've been testing lots of things. Like, I used to use 30 hashtags because that was the max. But now what we found, talking to guys like Paul Getter, who runs like Grant Cardone, Ty Lopez, and Joel Marion's Instagrams, and talking to many people and then playing around with things myself, as of right now, 10 hashtags seems to be the sweet spot. And you want your hashtags to be between 50,000 and 2 million hits, because you don't want to pick a hashtag that has like 30 to 100 million hits, because essentially what's going to happen is you're just going to get drowned out by everyone else using those hashtags. So you want to like niche down a bit and kind of find, you know, be in the range of 50,000 to 2 million hits. And you can search the hits by going into the actual Instagram discovery part where you can search, and you just search a hashtag and it'll show you how many hits that you have. And then on top of this, each post you want to curate different hashtags. You can't use the same hashtags over and over and over again, because what happens is you get shadow banned. So shadow ban means that if you post a hashtag, you're not going to show up on that hashtag anymore. You're going to get way less engagement on your posts. And usually you're shadow banned for like a week or two. And during those 1 to 2 weeks, it's very hard to grow. So the best thing to do.
Wow. So I'm sorry. You're saying that if you use the same hashtags for every post, you get shadow banned, like same 10, for example.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're just using the same 10 every single post, it's actually going to do you more bad than good. Like if that's what your plan is, to just keep using the same hashtags over and over again, you're better off just using no hashtags whatsoever.
Wow. And Kat actually pasted a good resource. You just Google hashtag generator. And let's say if you're making a post about traveling to Bali, right? So you write Bali, and then you look at the hashtags it gives you. And then you could just kind of put, let's say, the top 10 and then see if they're between 50,000 and 2 million.
Yeah, exactly. I use something like that a lot too, actually. And I showed my team how to use that when I was training them up, so they use it too. So it helps out a lot. Another thing you can do is you can look at some posts that are similar to yours, some pages that are similar to yours, and you can see what their hashtags are, and you can find hashtags that way as well. So those are probably the two best ways to find hashtags.
No, I think thanks for sharing that, because I mean that sometimes I'll use the same hashtags for numerous posts. Now that's like a deadly mistake that I'm making.
Exactly. It completely changed the frame there for you. So that's what you want to do when you have your content. You want to have the good hashtags. You want to have using the decaf method for your captions. You want to have great images. And when you do those things, you'll attract thousands of real people who are actually interested in you and what you have to say and want to buy from you. And, you know, in my case, like some people will want to date you. Obviously, this presentation, I made it for High Status Summit, which is a different target audience than yours. But that's something that they look for with their Instagrams. And people will look up to you like a celebrity. Like, whenever I go out now in public on a night where people are out drinking, I'll always get recognized now from my Instagram. And it's a pretty cool feeling. And it's just because I focused on having great content, and that helped me grow so quickly. So the second growth hack, and make sure you pay special attention to this, because this is a hack that will never die. This one is a timeless growth hack, and it's presence. Being present on the platform, because people do business with people they know, like, and trust. We've heard this, but 2019 is around the corner. So now that's not good enough. People do business with people they know, love, and trust. And in this growth hack, this is how you actually get your followers to love you. So with presence on Instagram, you want people to feel like they're always with you. You want people to feel like you are in their pocket, walking around with them wherever they go. And you want your followers to think to themselves, man, this guy is everywhere. You know how many times this past year people have messaged me and been like, man, you are everywhere. I've seen you blow up this past year. Like, I'm on all these people's radars now. Because I have presence on Instagram, and I never had presence on any other social media platform before. And now I'm seeing the power of this. So here's an example for you. So a couple of years ago, they did this study. I'm calling it the fake names study. And what happened was they took a group of people, and every month they would bring them into the lab, and they would give them a list of fake names. These were all just fake names, like no real person on there. And they told the people, okay, I want you to check off beside every name of a celebrity that you've heard of, because this is a list of celebrities. So everyone went through. The first time they went through the list, the very first time coming into the research lab, they checked off about 1% of the names. So these people, and I guess this was like placebo effect, they thought, 1% of the names on there are celebrities that they've heard of before. Then they brought them back month by month, month by month. Second month they go in, they gave them the exact same list, just in a random order. And what they found was about 5% of those people have heard of these celebrities before, even though these are all fake people. And then they kept doing this. And by like month 6, 50% of the names were being checked off as real celebrities. So these people thought that they had a list of celebrities now. And all it was they concluded that the reason that they thought these people were celebrities was because they heard of their names before. And the more they heard of these names, the more that they thought these people were a celebrity. So with Instagram, all you need to do is have presence. When you have presence and people are seeing you all the time, you become a celebrity in their eyes. And people buy from celebrities. So the way to be present on Instagram is to do the following 6 things. So the first thing, and this is the most important, is to post 3 times per day. If you go to my Instagram, I post 4 times per day. I found 3 to 4 times seem to be the best, but you don't want to jump into doing 4 times per day because it is a lot of content. So here's an example. I was talking to Jordan Syatt right before I started blowing up my Instagram, and I asked him, I was like, man, I think I saw you got like 240,000 followers this past year. I've been watching you grow. How did you do that? And in the back of my mind, I thought to myself, Jordan Syatt is Gary Vaynerchuk's personal trainer. Gary Vaynerchuk has over 1 million followers. The only reason Jordan has 240,000 followers right now is because he's Gary Vaynerchuk's personal trainer, and Gary Vaynerchuk gave him shoutouts. That's what I thought. But I told him, or asked him, and he told me, no, man, it was just Gary was training me last year at the end of the year. And I told him, I said, I have a few followers right now on Instagram, but I really want to blow it up this year. What should I do? And Gary said, okay, Jordan, how many times per day are you posting right now? And Jordan's like, I don't know, like maybe once a day. And Gary's like, oh, there's your problem right there. Just post 3 times per day. So Jordan's like, okay, I can do that. So he goes home after training Gary. That day he posted twice. And he came back and he trained Gary the next day, 6 a.m. Gary just finishes a set of weighted push-ups. He's got sweat beating down his face, and he says, hey, Jordan, how many times did you post on Instagram yesterday? And Jordan's like, I posted 3 times, Gary, 3 times. And Gary's like, that's bull. I just checked, and you only posted twice. So then Jordan said, okay, well, if I have Gary Vaynerchuk keeping me accountable and he's watching, I better do this. So he started posting 3 times per day. And then he was growing by like 20,000 followers per month. And the reason this works so well is, think about this logically for a second. Let's say 1 in every 3 or 4 of your posts goes viral. So if 1 in every 3 or 4 posts goes viral, you're not just going to post once a day and then have 1 post go viral every week. No, you're going to post 3 to 4 times per day and have 1 post go viral every single day. And then you're going viral every single day, and then you're growing much, much quicker. On top of this, you're only as good as your last post on Instagram. So what I mean by that is, if you have a post that does really well, your next post has a higher potential of doing well. That's the way the algorithm works.
Yeah, by the way, I want to elaborate on that because it's so funny. A friend of mine, he has this online coaching business, and he went into New York City and hired Gary Vaynerchuk for VaynerMedia. And I was like, dude, how much does that cost to work with Gary, and he said $300,000 for 1 year. I was like, damn, it's okay. Tell me the secrets. And he was like, Gary just said, post 3 times per day. And I'm like, you paid $300K just to post 3 times per day? That's a secret sauce, man.
Yeah. This is a $300,000 value advice right here. Just this one thing. But the key is, if you remember, my first hack is you need to have great content. So if you're posting 3 times per day, but your content sucks, you're not going to grow. So you got to keep that in mind as well. And when you think about this, here's what I learned when I started posting 3 times per day, because Gary has this 30-day challenge. So I was like, okay, I'll do his 30-day challenge, which is just posting 3 times per day. So I'll suck it up. I'll do it. You get really good at coming up with content when you're posting 3 times per day. On top of this, you start to realize what kind of content works well for you to grow. So it's a discovery period. You're discovering what kind of content works. So for myself, I was posting different types of content, and without fail, every time I posted an infographic, the infographic just like destroyed everything else. It made me get way more followers. I got way more engagement. So I found out, okay, it's infographics. So then I milked it. You milk the infographics. You just keep doing more and more and more infographics, because that's what was working for me. And that's how I started growing so quickly. So for yourself, you might try doing videos. You might try doing images. You might try doing infographics and all other things in between. And one of these things is going to help you grow a lot quicker. I can't predict what it'll be, but whatever it is, once you find that, you need to milk it. And on top of this, you also find your voice too, and you really find, okay, this is what I like to talk about. This is the kind of things that my followers like to hear me talk about. So it's a win-win-win all around. On top of this, for being present on Instagram, you want to be replying to all your comments. Because if you think about this, Instagram rewards people for using the platform. So if you and someone else post identical content and you're the only one that's replying back to the comments, your post is going to get seen by more people. On top of this, you need to be answering all the DMs. So if someone DMs you, just send them like a quick 15-second video reply back, and it's only 10, 15 seconds out of your day, but this makes people love you. People appreciate you getting back to them. Instagram sees that you're using your DMs, so they reward you for using the platform. And then if you think about this, every single person that you send a video reply, they're going to be a follower for life, and they're going to share you with your friends. And it's such a small little thing that you can do that has such a big impact on your growth.
Yes. Sorry, I just wanted to elaborate, because you're just spitting so much truth. And I know sometimes people get super overwhelmed, like, oh my God, I'm posting 3 times a day. How do I make it on Canva, create all the content? And, I keep it super simple. I have a VA, she's in the Philippines. And basically I have, let's say, a video that I had for 10 minutes or 1,000-word post. She'll take the quotes from the post, from the video, and make an infographic from it. And she just posts it, So you can take one piece of content and then repurpose it in smaller bite-sized pieces. And and I totally agree about the video messages, because, man, people just connect with you so much. And you'd also create like one basic video message and just kind of repurpose that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's at first, like the first week or two, it is a lot of work for sure. And after a while, you start to figure out all these little tricks, like, oh yeah, I can just repurpose this content. I can repurpose this content, and it becomes a lot easier. I had it down to, I was only doing 90 minutes a week before I hired someone else to take over, and I trained my team. But 90 minutes a week, I had it down to. I was talking to Jordan Syatt, and he's still doing everything. And he says he's spending like 6 hours a day on Instagram. I'm like, man, there's a lot easier and smarter way to be doing this, and you can still grow. So you can definitely, if you repurpose content, that's going to save you tons of time. On top of this, like, speaking of repurposing content, you want to be posting stories every day. And the way I look at stories is it's like the new email list. So whatever you're emailing out that day to your email list, you can just repurpose that into a video where you talk into your stories and you just say the exact kind of thing that you said in your emails. So that's a great way to do it. On top of this, stories is where you really turn yourself into a celebrity. So you just post the highlights of your life. Like if you're going out for dinner or hanging out with friends or playing with your kids and doing stuff like this, people want to see the highlights of your life, and that turns you into a modern day Kardashian. So stories are a great way to turn yourself into a celebrity as well, and be present and get people to fall in love with you and want to buy from you. On top of this, Instagram rewards you if you're using stories every day as well. So the key here is when you're present and you're using everything that Instagram has to offer, you're going to get rewarded in terms of your posts getting more engagement, and then you're going to have your posts shown to more people, and you're going to get more followers, and that's more future clients. Another thing you want to do is go live once or twice per week. Instagram wants you to go live. They want you to use it. That feature's there for a reason, so go live. On top of this, you can use this as a way to build value and get allow your future customers to ask you questions and interact with you. Lastly, good old-fashioned IGTV. Now, I'm guessing most of the people listening or watching to this training right now aren't doing a lot on IGTV just because it feels like there's no value being on IGTV right now. It feels like IGTV is dying. And you're right, it does feel like IGTV is dying. So here's my little trick for IGTV. When you use IGTV, Instagram sees that you're using it, and then it rewards you because you're present on the platform. But that seems to be the only upside of using IGTV unless you go all in and you're producing these high quality videos. So what do? Here's what you're going to do. Start taking your stories, downloading them for the past 24 hours, because you can download them on Instagram, and then just post them as IGTV videos. And that way, your stories, they go away after 24 hours, right? So you might as well download them and then get to use them more than 24 hours. And then if you post them on IGTV, they're there for life as well, and then they can provide value to people there. So all of these 6 things is how you become 100% present on Instagram. And, if you're present on Instagram, you turn yourself into your followers' biggest fan. You'll get recognized on the street, at restaurants, and while traveling. And it seems like people will just do anything for you, including buy your stuff and become your client. Leads us to the third growth hack, which is networking. So the quickest way to grow your following is to steal other people's followers. And you need to think to yourself, who's got my followers? Does AJ have my followers? Does Craig Ballantyne have my followers? Does Bedros Keuilian have my followers? Who has my followers? And then you need to steal their followers. So I want you to picture this. You just broke up with your long-term, girlfriend or boyfriend of the past 8 years. They left you for another man who is 20 years older than you and has a wife and 4 kids. And now you're all on top of this. Not only is your heart broken, but you're homeless because you just got kicked out of your apartment because your long-term girlfriend or boyfriend has brought in the other man that she left you for, and now he's living in your home. So you're laying on the couch at your buddy's house and you can't sleep. You look at the clock, it's 2 a.m. You roll around, try to go to sleep. Look at the clock again, it's 3 a.m., 4 a.m. You say, screw it, I'm going to get up. So you grab your phone and you go onto Instagram, and you have just magically gotten 6,000 new Instagram followers in the past 24 hours. This is a true story of exactly what happened to me. And it's because I networked my way through Instagram, and I had a huge page repost one of my posts, And he sent me 6,000 new followers in 24 hours.
Wow.
And the way I was able to do this was I stole his followers by using 4 tricks. So here's a step-by-step system to being able to steal other people's followers. First, this is step 0 actually. You need to identify the big page who you could steal their followers from. So you need to think, okay, who's someone who could potentially shout me out or repost one of my posts? And you find that person. For me, it was this guy named Adam Fowl, and he was the guy who sent me 6,000 followers. At the time, I had like 115,000, maybe 110,000 followers, and he had 350,000 followers. And what I started doing with him is step 1. I started reposting him a couple times per week, tagging him every time I reposted his content. And that was one of my ways of getting on his radar. The second step is every time he posted, like once per day, I would go to his most recent post and I would comment on that and I would leave a meaningful comment. And then that way, I thought of this name study. I wanted him to keep seeing my name. Because if he kept seeing me repost him and he kept seeing my name in the comments, then he would get familiar with me. And maybe I could turn myself into a celebrity in his eyes. The third step is you're going to slip it in their DM and start a conversation. Here's the best way I've found to slip it in the DM. So this is what I did with Adam. I was going through my stories and I was watching his story and I noticed that he had just gotten his haircut that day and I was going to get my haircut that day. So I put in my story, I said, all right, yeah, I'm going to go get my haircut because I hear if I get my haircut, I can be as jacked as Adam Fowl. And then I tagged him. And then he wrote back in the DMs because he thought it was funny. And then that got a conversation going. And we were talking back and forth and, you know, just being a cool dude and just like trying to provide value to him. And I wasn't asking for anything in return. And what happened was the next day, he reposted one of my posts. I didn't even ask him. He just did it. And that's when I got 6,000 new followers. So you can do it that way. Or if you start opening up the conversation and becoming friends with them, and if they have a similar size following, you can ask to do a cross shout out. So like, let's say you have 10,000 followers and the person that you're talking to has like 12 to 15,000 followers. Once they know you and you're talking back and forth, they'll say yes to do a shout out. And essentially what that means is you go on your stories and you say, go follow AJ Mihrzad. And then you put the link or you tag them on that post and then they'll do the same thing for you. Go follow JMax Fitness. And that's a great way of doing a shout out. I'll always try to push to do a cross post shout out as well. Like if it's someone else who's doing infographics and I'm doing infographics, I'll say, yo, I'll post yours and you post mine and we'll do it at the same time. And in the very first line, so that call to action at the start, we'll say, go follow JMax Fitness or go follow Adam Fowl, go follow Bedros Keuilian, whatever. And then we could do a shout out that way. And this is one of the quickest ways to get followers because now you're getting other people's followers who, you know, are already liking their stuff and your stuff is similar to their stuff. So they become a very warm follower right away. And just imagine what would happen if you did this. Imagine waking up to 6,000 new Instagram followers overnight like I did. Imagine having people reposting your content and giving you shout outs in their stories for free. You don't even have to pay them. You know how much someone has to pay me to do a shout out in a 15-second story? Someone has to pay me $291 to do a 15-second shout out in the story. So imagine not having to pay someone to do that. Imagine them doing it just for free. And imagine just using Instagram, this beautiful platform, and from being on Team No Pants from the comfort of your own home and befriending these people on the other side of the world, and then having them send you their followers, and then you guys meeting up at a mastermind or something, and then going out for dinner together because now you're friends, even though you just stole their followers. This is what happens when you network on Instagram. So on Instagram, here's a proposed 7-day schedule I have for you. So post at 7 a.m., 1 p.m., and 7 p.m. And you're going to post 2 original posts per day. And then you're going to repost 1 big page per day, a big page that you're trying to network with. And you can randomize that, and it doesn't really matter. Like, you know, maybe I'll repost a big page at 7, and then I'll do my 2 original posts later, or I can repost a big page at 1 p.m. the next day. It doesn't matter, just as long as you're doing 2 original posts and 1 repost of a big page per day. And that's how you can be posting 3 times per day. In this case, you only really need to make 2 of your own posts, so it's a lot less content. And then when you repost the big page, that's just copying and pasting anyway, so it's less work, and you still grow from theirs, and then you're networking at the same time. So it's a win-win-win.
To clarify, reposting a big page is shout-outing like a big-ass Instagram page with just using one of their posts and just say, hey, follow JMax.
Yeah, so so you don't even need to say follow this person. What I'll do is I will, you can use an app called like Repost app. And what it does is it takes the image, it downloads it, and then it copies and pastes their caption. And then you put it in, and you just make sure that you paste the image, you paste their caption, and then you just give them you just make sure you tag them in it. So like at JMax Fitness, if you reposted me, to give them credit, and then they'll see it because you have to tag them. But you don't necessarily have to say, like, go follow this person. I wouldn't even do that. I would just say photo credit JMax Fitness. Or with myself, I actually tag myself in the comments. And the reason I do that, I tag myself in the caption, in my own caption. And the reason I tag myself is because I make it easy for someone to repost me, because then they just copy and paste it into their own caption, and I'm already tagged. So it gives me the credit. So you don't have to say, go follow this person. You could just say, like, let's say the post was how to get bigger arms. So you could be how to get bigger arms by at JMax Fitness. Does that make sense?
Crystal clear. Thanks.
Awesome. So I just want you to imagine, what would your life be like if you were getting 26,000 new followers per month and getting thousands of likes on every single post? What would your life be like if you could use your Instagram to get free stuff sent to you, like supplements, meals, and you could use your Instagram to not have to wait in lines for clubs and getting invited to exclusive VIP events in your city or town? What would your life be like if people slipped it into your DM and wanted to date you? What would your life be like if you were able to make hundreds or thousands of dollars by simply recording and posting a 15-second story from your phone anywhere in the world? What would your life be like if you were able to do that? Because everything that I just mentioned, that every single thing has happened to me, and it will happen to you if you focus on content, presence, and networking on Instagram. And that's how you grow your Instagram.
Boom. Powerful stuff. Yeah. I mean, I've been taking notes like crazy. It's a lot.
You're even recording this.
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to watch the review and, just basically go back into it. I really appreciate all the information, all the insights. Of course, I want to be cautious with everyone's time and making sure that we got everything in. My question is for you, Jason, like, are you seeing a consistent growth every single day, or are you seeing it slow down because of the algorithm?
So it's slowed down a bit, and I think it's just because I'm still using infographics, and a lot more people are using infographics now too. So when I first started, not a lot of people were using infographics. But with that being said, I'm still adding about 1,000 new followers a week. Before, I was doing 5,000 to 10,000 new followers per week, but now I'm growing by 1,000, maybe some weeks 2,000 new followers per week. So it's still working. So because it's still working, I'm still doing it. So the only time I'm not going to do it is if it's not working anymore.
I love it, love it, love it. And one thing I also wanted to discuss was your course, which is phenomenal. I went through it, helped me tremendously. And share with them, because you shared a lot here, but that's going to be more details and specific templates and scripts.
Yeah. So the course is it's called 100K Insta Followers, and it's the exact process that you can use to grow your Instagram from 0 to 100,000 followers. And to be honest with you, it's the exact strategy that I'm still using to grow by 1,000 new followers per week. And anyone can use it. You can use it in fitness. You can use it in health, wellness, dating, in business. Anyone can use this, and it just teaches all of this more in depth. And you can get that by going to www.onlinesupercoach.com/IG.
Yes. And great thing about the course is the fact you have a Facebook group. So you're interactive, and you're actually helping people if they have specific questions and whatnot.
Yeah. So what we do in the Facebook group is if someone is like having trouble, they just post their Instagram profile, and then I'll go through and I'll say, okay, well, the reason you're not growing is because X, Y, Z, or maybe try doing this, or this post was awesome, keep doing more of these, kind of thing. So yeah, the community is pretty great there, because a lot of people have gone through the training now. And actually, like, there's been a lot of success stories of people that have just been hiding. And then I got a DM by a guy the other day, and he was like, yeah, I just launched my online business this year because I used your course, and now I'm at 30,000 followers. I'm getting all these clients from Instagram. And I'm like, man, that is so cool. Why didn't you tell me this earlier? Like, why are you just telling me now? So it's a pretty awesome community, and I'm just so grateful to have it and have these people that are making changes in their lives.
No, it's phenomenal. And like I said, I learned a lot. I'm currently at 80,000, and I'm trying to break 100,000 in the next few months. So all this stuff works, it's very strategic, and it's just consistent. Like I said, for the most part, I'm just having SJ, my VA, repurpose a lot of my stuff because I don't have a lot of time, and just making sure I respond back to the messages, do video stuff. And, the cool thing about your course is like everything is like planned out. It's like the templates, the processes, and it's like a no-brainer because you give a 30 money back guarantee. So if someone is not feeling it, no questions asked, you refund it.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing is it's not like a long training. I think totally it's like 90 to 120 minutes. So an hour and a half to 2 hours. And then, so you can consume it in an afternoon and then just start building your Instagram right away. And it's just a simple process. It's not like I put any like fluff into it. It's just do this, and it'll work.
Absolutely. And the biggest thing is the accountability, because you learn all this stuff and inside the group people are doing it and you're hearing all the wins, and it just holds you accountable. Oftentimes you're investing in a course just so you could take the action. The more you pay, the more you pay attention. So again, if you go to the website, onlinesupercoach.com/IG, you'll get all the information for that. And I want to thank you for this amazing presentation, Jason.
Thank you so much for having me, man. I really appreciate this because I love talking about this stuff.